All right, welcome in. If you're a man over 50, what we have here is your blueprint for taking back your vitality. We're going to cut right through all the noise and give you the science-backed principles to rebuild your strength, your energy, and your health. So, let's dive right in.
This idea right here from Dr. Helen Carter, it's our entire starting point. You know, we're all told that feeling stiff, having low energy, and that nagging sore back, well, that's just part of getting older. But what if I told you the science paints a completely different picture? It says what we call aging is often just the result of not using our bodies the way they were built to move.
Okay, so there's this thing at the heart of the problem. It's called sarcopenia, and it's just the gradual loss of muscle over time. But here's the kicker, and this is the really empowering part. Recent studies are showing this is absolutely not a one-way street. Sarcopenia is a problem of disuse, not some inevitable decay. And that means you have the power not just to stop it, but to actually reverse it. All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start by breaking down the two most powerful levers you can pull for longevity. Then, we'll get into how to reawaken that primal strength and build up your endurance engine before we wrap it all up in a simple weekly blueprint you can actually use.
All right, let's dig into the science here. We're going to zero in on two scientifically proven factors that have a massive impact, not just on how long you live, but on how well you live.
You can forget all the trendy diets, all the fancy supplements for a second. The research, a lot of it put together by longevity expert Dr. Peter Attia, it all points to one main predictor: your overall fitness. And it really just boils down to two fundamental pillars that have a bigger impact than almost anything else.
Okay, get ready for this, because the difference strength makes is just staggering. When researchers track men as they age, the group with low muscle mass has a 3 times higher risk of dying from any cause compared to the group with high muscle mass. I mean, 3 times. That is a huge lever you can pull to change your future.
And if you thought that was impressive, check this out. It gets even crazier. If you look at men in the bottom quarter for cardio fitness for their age and compare them to the guys in the top tier, that elite group has a 5 times lower risk of dying from anything. This might be the single most powerful thing you can change, period.
Okay, so now we know what's at stake. Let's get to the first solution: how to safely and effectively rebuild that strength that's just gone dormant. And look, this isn't about becoming a bodybuilder. This is about reawakening the basic, foundational movements your body was designed for. But here's the deal. To do this right, and to do it without getting hurt, we have to follow what physiotherapists call the golden rule. Progress doesn't have to be fast, it just has to be steady. Remember the old saying, it's a marathon, not a sprint? Well, that's exactly it. This idea of progressive training, it's the gold standard for a reason.
So, where do we start? We start with the glute bridge. And you might be asking, why here? Because as Dr. Carter points out, weak, sleeping glutes are the root cause of so many problems after 50. We're talking chronic low back pain, unstable hips, you name it. This one move is like flipping a switch to turn them back on.
All right, next up, the squat. This is one of the most fundamental human movements there is, essential for everything from just getting out of a chair to climbing a flight of stairs. Now, if a full squat feels like too much right now, no problem. Just start with a chair. Do slow, controlled sit-to-stands, and don't be afraid to use your hands for a little support. Now, this next one, the bird dog, it looks deceptively simple, right? But it is one of the most powerful ways to re-engage the deep muscles that stabilize and protect your spine. Think of these as the smart little muscles along your backbone that tend to shut down when we sit too much. This move wakes them right up. Okay, super important point here. This all comes down to one thing: protecting your body. Always focus on a straight spine. Pull that belly button in to engage your core. And remember, quality over quantity every single time. You gotta listen to your body. A little bit of muscle burn, that's good. Sharp pain, that's a hard stop.
All right, on to that second huge lever for longevity. It's time to build a powerful, efficient aerobic engine that's going to carry you for decades.
We're going to do this with something called Zone 2 training. You can really think of this as a magic bullet for your metabolic health. At this specific moderate intensity, your body gets amazing at burning fat for fuel. But more importantly, it actually builds more mitochondria. I'm talking about the tiny engines inside every single one of your cells.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Zone 2? That sounds super technical, right? Like you need a fancy heart rate monitor or you need to go to some lab, but you don't need any of that. There's a simple, free, and incredibly accurate way to find it.
It's called the talk test. And it's as simple as it sounds.
So, imagine you're on a phone call. The person on the other end can tell you're working out, but you can still get a full sentence out. Maybe you're a little breathy between sentences. That is the sweet spot. That's your zone 2.
Okay, so we've got our 2 pillars, primal strength and that endurance engine. Let's put it all together into a weekly plan that you can actually stick to, even with a busy life.
Now, look at this as your starting template, not some strict rule book you have to follow. The key thing here is the rhythm. You're alternating your strength days with your cardio days, you're building in some active recovery, and you're giving yourself a full day of rest. That rest day is where your body actually adapts and gets stronger. So make this schedule work for you.
And this right here might be the most important part of this whole thing. It's about a fundamental shift in how you think. You're not just a passenger watching aging happen to you. Your body hasn't broken down, it's simply been detrained. And anything that has been detrained can be retrained.
So, let's circle back to that powerful idea from Dr. Carter. This whole process, it's not about building something new from scratch. It's literally about reclaiming what is already yours, the strength, the mobility, the energy that has just gone dormant over the years.
So I'm going to leave you with this one thought. That capacity for strength and for vitality, it's already inside you. It's just waiting to be switched back on. The only real question left is, what are you going to do tomorrow to start waking it up?